What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and you're watching the B1KER Bar Podcast. So I've been riding, basically every day, and I was wondering, like, as a professional athlete, like, how often do you ride? Do you like rest every 3 days, or do you like just go out there and is a rest day actually just riding, but not as much? Or
We get to talk about one of our favorite things,
Yes.
which is recovery gains.
And the gray zone.
Yeah, so the thing with like training at a high level is you don't necessarily do as much volume as people think unless you're training for something like this Everesting thing. Like, It's really more about super high intensity rides and then like recovering fully from that, which might be like spinning on your rest day and might be doing nothing. It just depends like what you need. Yeah.
I would say leading up to this, I was probably riding 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And it, it was like 3 days and then a day off and then 2 days and a day off. But not usually more than 5 days a week and sometimes less.
Yeah.
So
basically the idea, like you don't actually gain strength like while you're breaking your body down. So if you're riding hard every day, you're just going to get like periodically weaker. Like when we did BC bike race, like you're not stronger on the 7th day, you're just wrecked by then. So like on a normal training week, you would go hard for 3 days and then maybe take 2 days off in a row so that you could go hard again on the 6th day.
I've been noticing with me, like I live in Sacramento, so it's pretty flat here in town. So like I've been riding road bike Monday through Friday, and I notice like I'll usually kind of hit a little harder on Monday through Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday I kind of like sandbag it a little bit. I mean, I'm still doing the same distance, but I'm definitely not putting the effort into it because I know Saturday and Sunday I'm going to be mountain biking, and I need that like energy to go from like a road ride that's 20 miles with 200 feet elevation to a 20-mile mountain bike ride with 3,000 feet of elevation. It's like a huge difference. So I just wasn't sure, like, because I know from like other training that I've done, like it's important to have your rest days, but I feel like with the bike, like today, like yesterday I did a big ride. Today I went out and I rode for like an hour, but I was like not like hammering it. I was like, hey, look, let's stop and look at that picture, take that Instagram picture or whatever,
Yeah.
And so in my head, I was like, that's kind of a rest day,
Totally. And, and for different people, like they like different things, basically. For me personally, I prefer to be off completely on my rest days. But I know a lot of people who are like, no, I feel best if like on my rest days I spin for an hour or spin for 30 minutes or whatever. And so that's a personal preference thing. But the idea is just that you are going a lot easier on your rest days than you are on your non-rest days. And, I'm not sure where you are in your time frame here. But it would be interesting, I think, to try like choosing certain days that you're like, these days I'm going to either do a significantly longer ride or I'm going to like do the same length ride, but I'm going to go way harder. And then the other days, like have it be like today, like you were saying, like, just spin, taking it easy and see if you notice a difference between like, riding consistently all the day, like all day, all 7 days versus riding really hard 3 or 4 of the days and then easier the other ones. If you find that like you lose weight faster or you feel better, or like, if you notice anything, or, then when you go and do your mountain bike climbs, is it easier to get up that 3,000 foot climb than it was?
Yeah, it's definitely been, it's definitely something I'm playing around with right now and trying to understand, because I mean, I knew initially, because I used to commute to work back in like, and that was like a 34-mile round trip or something like that.
Nice.
And when I did that, like I knew it took about a month before I could get to the point of I could commute and then still go on a mountain bike ride, like an evening ride. You know what I mean? Or commute and still be able to like not be destroyed on the weekends. You know what I mean? So now at this point with the diet, I'm about a month and a half in. And like the other day, I did my 20 miles in the morning, and I went out and did like another 10-mile mountain bike ride in the afternoon.
Nice.
I'm definitely noticing like the ride that I did yesterday was what, if I was a weekend warrior, it was a that would have been a big ride, you know, and it was like, I don't know, 22 miles and like 3,000 feet of elevation. Right. So for me, like knowing that how much I'm riding right now and being able to do that and actually complete it and like make the climbs and not just be totally destroyed, I definitely, you know, obviously I've gotten way stronger, but it's hard to know whenever you're like, I joke with my friends, like my legs are just destroyed all the time. You know, it's just like, what level of destroyed are they?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to experiment with, because you know, and that's one thing that like I've learned from racing very seriously for the past 15 years is, you know, you start to learn, like sometimes you're like, I need an extra recovery day, and you can be honest with yourself and say, I'm just feeling lazy. And sometimes you're like, I need an extra recovery day because I need an extra recovery day.
But sometimes you're like, I have to do my ride, and your spouse is like, you've been a grumpy asshole all day, like you're taking a nap. You're not riding today.
You're not riding today, you're taking a recovery day. And it's, you know, and that's what one of the reasons having a coach is great, is you can call the coach and be like, hey, I am just off today, like, should I ride? And the coach might say, I expect you to be tired today, and that's part of your training, and you need to go ride. And they might say, no, you don't need to push through that. Take today off, take it easy, recover, don't feel guilty about it. But yeah, I mean, you just start to learn that. And like, if your legs are tired all the time, I might incorporate some like easy days into that and see if then on the other days you can go even harder, because you're like, oh, I had some recovery, I'm feeling good now, I can really push it, and then be willing to like take the easier days.
It also like comes in like cycles over weeks too. Like we'll have like full recovery weeks. I think Mackie's on a recovery month right now.
I think I'm doing that like kind of ramping up and down like accidentally on purpose. You know what I mean? Like initially I was trying to ride as hard as I could on those like Monday through Friday rides. And basically by Friday, I just wouldn't be riding very fast because I didn't have any more legs. And now I'm like, Thursday, I'm like, I'm gonna take it a little bit easy. You know what I mean? I'm like trying not to hit the same, like, I'm like, I'm gonna finish this ride. There's not gonna be any PRs on that. You know what I mean? Like, not even third places. It's gonna be like, wah, wah, wah. You know? If you like that, make sure you check out the full episode. And hey, do me a favor, before you take off, hit the like and subscribe.